Okay, we are back and we're live. Welcome back, you guys, to our daily live feed. We're going to give it a minute for everyone to get logged on. Wait for that notification to pop up. There it goes for YouTube. Awesome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you guys are getting logged on tonight, if you are logging on Instagram, I am up on YouTube where we will be screen sharing. So you can go check it out over there. Or you can just watch it afterwards on YouTube as well. It does go up after we end our stream out. And while we are waiting for everyone to get logged on, as always, if you would like to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. We do hair, makeup, suits and posing, all the fun stuff when it comes to competing. Say hello when you log on, and your comments will pop up on my screen. And that helps us get seen. It helps with our algorithms. It helps YouTube to show us to people, all that stuff, that fun stuff. And when you are logging on, make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel too. And if you turn on notifications when you do that, you will get notified a half an hour before we go live. You'll get a little ding so you remember to get on live with us. What's up, Wendy? Haven't seen you in a while. How are you? Welcome, guys. What's up, Lexi? And while we're waiting, also, as you know, Cutie's Cock on the Stage tickets are live. We only have a few left in early bird specials. And tomorrow night, you want to be logged on YouTube. Because on YouTube, we are going to have a bunch of our speakers on with us. And we're going to do a little introduction, talk a little bit about what they are going to be teaching about at Cutie's Cock on Stage this year. So you're going to have to jump on and ask your questions, all that kind of stuff too. So make sure you put that on your calendar for tomorrow night so that you get on during that one. That one's a big one. It's going to be fun. We got like six of the ladies, I think, are confirmed. I can't remember off the top of my head. Something like that. And tonight we'll be wrapping up the Titans Grand Prix, which Jordan is on Instagram. I just saw her pop on over here, and she did win this show. So congratulations, Jordan. I'm going to share a little bit about what you told me. So I did get a chance to see a little bit of finals. I did not see prejudging, but I did see a little bit of finals. So I was able to see how that went with the confirmation round and all of that. All right. Well, we've waited, I think, long enough to get this going. So what I am going to do is I'm going to turn off the chat overlay on YouTube because I actually think that gives us what's up? I think that gives a little bit more space for the pictures and stuff to pop up when we're on YouTube. But I'll go ahead and highlight chat or messages that come in when you chat in. And also realize too, when you go back and you watch the YouTube feed after it's posted again, it'll have the live feed chat right there on the side for you too. So if you're ever wondering like what I'm talking about, I'm answering a question that somebody just chatted in live, that kind of thing. So I'm going to turn the chat overlay off in a moment. Okay, we're going to pull up this week's show, which was the Titans Grand Prix. What am I doing? Here we go. I'm off my game here, guys. Okay, here it is right here. Let me move that. Okay, sorry. We weren't able to go live on Thursday last week. I did reach out. It was actually a software issue with my streaming service. And they assured me that won't happen again. So let's cross our fingers that won't happen again. But here we go. Here is our results from the Titans Grand Prix right here. It was 14 girls in the show. So we're seeing this happening now at most of these shows. They're getting smaller. I have a feeling that once we get into November, we're going to start seeing bigger shows again. We're in this weird position right now where we're getting towards the end of the qualifying series for the Olympia, and we're not quite close enough for people to be warming up for the Olympia yet. So I think what's going to happen in the next, once we get into November, is we're going to see a lot of these numbers start going back up again in these amounts of people in the show. But I was looking at pro lists even for the ones coming up this coming weekend, and all of them are relatively small. And I expect that to be the case for the next couple of weeks, but don't see that happening for very much longer. because the girls are going to start trying to qualify for next year, and they're also going to start warming up for the Olympia. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to go through the top 5, and I have them pulled up here so we can kind of go through each one of them. Pictures are good for this one. Didn't have a live streaming like that, so I wasn't able to watch the call outs, and I wasn't able to see the movement and things like that, but we can at least go through the photos. So we have Deanna Dang in 5th. So I've got her pictures right here. Let me pull up a good front shot of her, and we'll kind of go through her look. Here we go. There's a good front shot. Let me share that. Oops. Keep hitting the wrong button. There we go. All right. Perfect. Okay. So I believe she's done decent this year. I know people have mentioned her name before. I'm not personally familiar with her. Beautiful girl. But what I would say in general, she's a little thin. When you look at her overall frame, I just feel like she can fill out some more muscle on her frame. She's got a tiny little waistline right here, which is fantastic. But I think she needs more shoulders, more upper back, all of that to pull this whole shape out some more. And she just looks a little bit depleted. Like you can kind of see it in her shoulders here. You can see it in her chest here, in her clavicle area, that kind of thing. See some striations in the back shoulder in the back. That just to me shows somebody that's a little bit thin, a little bit depleted. So overall, I think this is a good look. I think she's got a very pretty look. She's got a very stunning look in the face and everything too. But I just don't think she's quite filled out her frame yet as far as how good her proportions could be. She has great proportions, and she's got this, like I said, this tiny waistline, but she just needs to add some overall size. I don't know how long she's been competing this year. I feel like she's done a few shows, but it just looks like to me she's just depleted. So it could be a matter of just filling it out a little bit more, or she just may need some overall muscle, overall size on her whole frame. Let me pull up a back shot for her. Let me see. And this is really kind of where I see that she needs the size, really, is in the back shot. So she's in shape. Like she's definitely lean enough, she's tight enough, all those kinds of things. But you can see here in this back shot that she just looks thin, right? She just looks a little thin. So what I'd like to see her do is just overall put a whole layer of muscle on her, right? From top to bottom. You know, the only thing she doesn't want to add any size to is her waistline, right? So just add some size, some fullness to everything, because she's got fantastic glute shape here, but she's just a little bit small and she's just a little bit shallow. Like she could use some more upper glute right here. She could use more legs, you know. She's got these beautiful hamstring, these diamond drops. That's a genetic shape that's gorgeous, but it's just not filled out. She just needs some more size there. So overall, I think that her shape is great. I think she came in shape. I would just like to see her a little bit bigger, a little bit fuller, a little bit rounder all the way around. What's up? Hello. Saying hi to everybody when you get logged on. But yeah, 5th place is great. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's awesome to get a top 5. I just like to see some more size on her. That's my critique there for her. Let's pull up 4th place, which was Ariel. So we talked about Ariel several times. Again, I think she's another one that just got a really stunning look to her. Beautiful girl, top to bottom, beautiful smile, beautiful stage presence, all of that. Her conditioning was definitely better at this show than it was at her last show, for sure, but it's still not quite there. She still needs to come in tighter. You can really see this in her through her waistline. And also when we turn her to the back, you're going to see it in her hamstrings too. And I still have the same critique about her posing. Her posing's off. So this hip bone right here, her whole glute and everything here just needs to push back and up. I'm not sure why she's pushing forward on her pelvis like that. But that's an easy fix. All she's got to do is push back into it a little bit this way. And then that, if she just did that, then her shoulders would even out too. You can see from the back, her back shoulder is up high. That's because she's tilting forward on her pelvis versus pushing back. So it's really a very simple fix. So I'd just like to see her. Fix this pose. I think she would come off so much better. It would give her so much more shape, so much more of that V taper, and really just make her glutes pop a lot more if she just pushed back on that. With that said, she still needs to be tighter too. She still needs to be tighter as well. But again, she is much tighter than she was at her last show. So she's definitely going in the right direction here for this, 100%. Let's pull up her back shot. Here's a back shot. Here we go. So again, beautiful shape from the back. She's got the fullness, the roundness from the glutes, the high pop in the glutes. She's got all of that. She's got the pop in her delts at the top too. What she doesn't have is that conditioning through here. She's just a little bit too soft still. She still needs to come in a little bit tighter. Personally, I think this is a great look, but this is not what's being rewarded. You need to come in tighter for today's conditioning standards. And she has the shape. She has the shape. She has the personality. She has the stage presence. She has the look. She has all those things. She just needs to get that condition to come in tighter. She's on the right track. I'm not sure how many more shows she's planning on doing, but if she can just pull it in a little bit tighter, she can win one of these. She can win one of these real easy. So I'm curious to see what she does next. I don't know if she's competing this week or not. I haven't looked at the pro list yet for the upcoming shows this coming weekend, but I will. I'll look at them probably tomorrow. We'll do that. We do the previews on Thursday. So there's Ariel. Let me pull up the next one, which is Lyanna Moore. So we talked about her in the preview that this is her first time back since I think July, was her last show. And frankly, she looked about the same as what she did in July. She was a little bit tighter. She was at that, what was it? It was a European show she did. I can't remember what we said it was, Evolution, something or other, where she was not tight enough at that show. So she's definitely tighter here at this show, 100%. But she still to me just needs a little bit more pop to her. I feel like she's still a little bit leg heavy. That's been a critique that she's gotten in the past. She still does have quite a bit of leg. You see it a lot from the back. And I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to bring that down. But in the process, you lose some of that oomph and that pop in doing all of that. So we're going to really see that again when we turn to the back and look at her back shot. But I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to streamline her a little bit, but in the process, we're sacrificing a little bit of that 3D-ness, that pop into her muscle. Now, there's been a lot of talk about the black bikinis. She wore one, so did Alexandria Ross. That's next in second place. And I'm going to be the first person to say, so we just got somebody just asked, so I'm going to pull this up so you guys can see it. I personally love black suits, but not on brunettes. I think that in order to pull off a black suit, you do have to be a blonde. And the reason why I say that is because of the contrast. To me, when you've got dark hair, dark eyes, dark features, all that, and a black suit, it doesn't pop, doesn't do anything for you, right? Now, I know, again, we're going to get to Alexandria Ross. I know that's kind of her signature color. She's always worn it. So did India for a very long time. But if you notice, even India has changed to a bright blue. I just don't see that being the best suit color choice. I don't think it's terrible. I just don't think it's the best color. I just don't think it does anything for them. I don't think it makes it anything better. So I'm gonna hide that now. And again, not that it's a bad color. I just think that there are colors that are better, right? I liked the red on her. I'm not sure why she changed from the red. I do think that the cut of this black one is a whole lot better. The cut on the red one, I remember seeing her in Pittsburgh and thinking, oh my God, she's going to fall out of her top. That's all I could think the whole time. So the cut on this black one is 1,000 times better than her first red one. But I would go with this cut right here and go back to her red. That's my personal opinion. If you feel great in this color, fantastic, wonderful. But I just think it's kind of meh. Like I love black. Don't get me wrong. I won my pro card in black, but I was blonde, right? And I added other colored crystals onto my suit too. I wore black twice on the pro stage. Actually, one of my best placings, I was in black, but it had other colors, other crystals on there too. So it made it pop in different colors. Depending on the light, it looks a little bit green or a little bit blue because it had the Aurora Borealis and stoning on it. I wore black. My Not this time that I got on stage, but the last time, like 4 years ago, I wore black then too, but it also had pink stones on it, So I think if you're going to do the black, like straight black by itself, you really got to be blonde in order to be able to make it a wow color. Yeah, for me, it's just kind of, that's the best way I can describe it. It's just gonna, So thank you. I appreciate that. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's bad. I just don't think it's the best either. I think that there's much better colors. And again, I would go back to the red. I think that her personality fits the red. I just think her overall look fits the red. I would go back to red. That's my 2 cents, right? So again, going back to her overall frame, she just looks a little bit leg heavy. And when you look at comparison pictures, which I'll bring up a couple of those too when we get towards the end, when she's standing by herself, she doesn't look overly muscular. She looks pretty well proportioned, all that kind of thing. But when you put her next to somebody like Jordan, who won this show, she looks real thick. She looks thick through the midsection. She looks very muscular, very thick, right? So she's got to do some work on still streamlining this physique. And just really bringing down the legs more than anything else. And then allowing her glutes to be the focus and popping them a little bit more versus, fighting against her legs. I'm going to hide that comment. There we go. Okay. Let's turn her to the back. Make a back shot. Here we go. Okay, so here's what I mean by lack of pop here in the back. I don't know if you guys can see the difference between her glutes and like Ariel's glutes that we just showed, but you're going to see a difference when I bring up Jordan at the end here. But we're just missing that upper glute here. You can see it's a little bit shallow. You can even see it with this suit cut. You can see it's a little bit shallow on the top, right? So not that her glutes are bad. They're not. They're fantastic. She has fantastic glutes, but we just need more oomph to that top glute. We need some pop to that top glute, and we need to bring these legs down. This is like between bikini and wellness. It's not wellness. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying wellness. She's not wellness. So don't quote me on that I'm saying she's wellness. She's not. But her legs, the structure of them are starting to look like they could lean that way. Right? So this is what I'm talking about as far as streamlining those legs. Now, is she good enough to win a show? 100%. She is absolutely good enough to win a show. She definitely is. But if you're going to put her next to somebody like Jordan, who won this show, she's going to look thick. She's going to look muscular. She's going to look over the line for bikini. Okay? So I think she's competing again this week. I don't know. But she's close. She's close. I think she's close on points. We mentioned that before too. She's very close on winning a show. It's just a matter of, if she hits the right one between now and the Olympia, and if she can get that oomph to come into her glutes, basically. Okay. And switch the suit. Let's see. Next we have Alexandria Ross. So this is like the comeback of this show, basically. She was out of the top 5, I believe, at the last show. And then she came in much, much better at this show. But my critiques still stand. So the one thing she did much better at this show versus her last one is her conditioning level, specifically from the back. Her conditioning was a lot better, which definitely showed her glutes a whole lot better. But my critiques from her last show, other than that, are pretty much the same. She still looks top heavy to me as far as her shape is concerned. I feel like she can still pose a lot better in this front pose to show her shape better. And also, I want you to take a look at where she's wearing this suit bottom. She's cutting off a lot of her glute back here by wearing the suit, this strap too low. And she's one that can't afford to do that. I would just take this hip strap and pull it up, yank it up another inch, right? That would give her a little bit more balance from top to bottom, and it would help her really get those glutes to be more balanced, to be bigger, right? And balance her with her upper body. Because even when you're looking at this front pose right here, you can see she's upper body dominant. She's bigger across the top than she is on the bottom. So I think this can actually be, if not fixed, it can definitely be tweaked to be much better if she just tweaks this pose and pulls that hip strap up right here, right? Now, let's go back to the black suit comments we were talking about before. This is kind of her signature color, right? This is what she's always worn for years. I would still like to see her in another color, you know? I don't mind it because it's her signature color. Again, I don't have a problem with the black, but I just don't think it's the best choice. I think she could pick something else. She would look great in a red. You know, she also would look great in a red or something bright like a blue or a purple or something like that. Just give me some color. I need some color. I need something. Give me some pop, right? I do think her conditioning, again, is much, much better, but she just needs to work on the shape. She needs to work on the shape, okay? So let's take a look at her back shots. Let's find a back shot here. Now, this is where she improved a lot from her last show, which was her back shot right here. Glutes are so much better here. And, you know, especially when you see them in comparison shots, she's a lot better from the back at this show than she was at her first one. That's just another couple weeks of dieting, and that's what happens. You know, you get that conditioning coming a little bit better. But again, I think that if she pulled those suit bottoms up, we would see more glute. You know, she's cutting herself off here, right? Pull it up, and we'll see more glute that'll balance you a little bit better. I think she could also relax her elbows down. I think she's got her elbows up too high. So I think she can relax her elbows down on that, and that would help in her back pose too. But again, overall, this is a very solid improvement from her last show. Some people that were at the last show told me that her posing was not great. I didn't see her posing for this show. So I'm wondering if anybody is here that's on the live stream right now that can tell me how her posing went. Feel free to type that in. Let me know. But, you know, sometimes you got to kick the rust off your first show. So I'm curious to know if her posing routine stuff was better this show, and if her presence was better this show. I just don't know because I didn't see any video. But, you know, like I said, overall, this is a solid improvement. And like we talked about with the preview of this show, she's one of those competitors that can just come out and boom, win a show just out of nowhere, you know, and this is kind of the case here. She got pretty close, but she still didn't win it. So next thing we're going to go into is Jordan. So let's pull her photos up here. So from what I gather and from what Jordan told me with this show and from what I saw from the little bit of video that I did see, she won this show hands down. And I think just looking at the photos, you could probably tell that. Now, this is what I was talking about with the shape aspect. You know, as far as shape is concerned, I mean, nobody came close to touching her shape. You know, this is really great balance from top to bottom. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about balance. Her shoulders match her glute ratio. Her waist is teeny tiny. She's maximized her shape. Her conditioning is right where it needs to be. I've said before, I think that she does a really, really good job on her front pose. There's nothing on this front pose that I would change. I think that her front pose is right where it needs to be in order to show her shape at its best. I believe her conditioning came in a little bit better over the last two shows as well. Did Jordan win 2 shows in a row? 2 shows in a row, yes. And I believe it's 4 altogether for this qualifying series. So she's going into the Olympia with 4 wins, right? And once I talk a little bit about her showing at this show, I'm actually going to mention a little bit about her strategy and how I really appreciate her strategy. I don't know if she's still here on the live feed or not, but I've watched her and her strategy over the last couple of years, and I don't think anybody's played this game better than her. I'm just going to be honest. I've paid attention. She's done a very, very good job at strategically placing herself into different shows. But yeah, this is a really, really, again, balanced look from top to bottom. Can't really change much about it. Let's turn her to the back. Let's see. Oh, she's here. She's still here. She's on live on Instagram. So you're going to hear me talk about you. It's all good things. So you're going to hear me talk all good things about you. Let's see. Here's back shot here. Okay. So again, this is what we're talking about with that pop. Can you guys see the difference in the pop of her glutes versus the last, 4 girls that we showed? It's a significant difference, you guys. She's filled out at the top here. I talked about that with Lyanna. She had a little bit of a dip here. Jordan doesn't have that. She's filled out. She's got that pop. She's got that roundness. She's got that fullness, and she's tight, but she's not too tight, right? This is a really, really good back shot. There's not a whole lot to change here. Now, I'll talk a little bit about what I did see from the video that I saw from finals. So I didn't see prejudging at all. I just saw pictures go up and things like that. And from what I saw in the photos, I thought she had won it pretty much hands down. And then when I was watching the finals, they're doing confirmations and all of that. They didn't even put her into a confirmation round. They brought the 3 through 5 up or something like that. They didn't even bring her out and confirm her. So I was like, well, that must mean she just won it. Like, they didn't even have to look at her again. She just won the show. And that's essentially what happened. I did talk to Jordan afterwards, and she mentioned kind of the same thing happened at prejudging. They had them all come out, do comparisons, front, back, front, walk to the back, all that. And they told her to go stand off to the side, and then they compared everybody else. So, I mean, she won it very dominantly. She won it very, very dominantly, very hands down, perfect score, all of that. And she mentioned to me, I did ask her what her feedback was, and she mentioned that they wanted to see this conditioning with the size that she had at the Arnold UK. So she's Jordan, you're getting the downs, which I think is really, really excellent feedback. I felt like Jordan's look at the Arnold, her front shot was the best front shot I've ever seen her do. And she just needed to be a little bit tighter from the back. So I think if she can pull those two things together for the Olympia, I think that's a really, really dominant look. I do believe that she is going to be in the top 10 this year. I think she could even get into that first call out and give some people a run for their money for top 5. All the laughing over here. So I wanted to mention a little bit, and I'll take her butt shot down. So we're not saying this while I'm talking about strategy. I'm looking at her butt shot here. I'll find a comparison shot and bring it up so that you guys can see it. Actually, I don't think they had comparison shots up for this show because I did look for those. Yeah, they don't have the comparison shots up. Never mind. I was going to bring up a comparison shot, but we'll just bring up a front shot instead. We'll put that up on the screen when we talk about this. So, one of the things that I think that she's done very, very well is planning of her shows. Some of the questions people ask a lot of times is, why does somebody as a pro, if they're already qualified for the Olympia, why do they continue to compete? There's lots of different reasons for that. One of the main reasons is to get in front of different judging panels and get feedback from all of the judges that you're going to see at the Olympia. That is a big reason. Another reason is to test different looks. Just because you win a show doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be your best show. So, or best look, right? So if there's little things that you want to try and fix, that's what you do. You come back and you try again, right? So getting on stage several times, even after you've won your Olympia qualification, is a smart thing to do. Now, there is a point where you got to cut it off and say, no, we're done. I'm not going to keep going because it's just law of diminishing returns kind of thing, right? So one of the things that I will say, Jordan, that you've done very, very well is taking time off. She earned her Olympia qualification last fall, right? Right after the Olympic qualification cut off from last year, she got on stage. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you won 2 shows, I think, which secured her Olympia qualification for this year. So what that did for her is that allowed her to take the entire year to rest, recoup, and make improvements, right? She did do the Arnold and all of that. So from that point on, she was able to relax a little bit and focus on what she needed to do from her feedback in order to come back better. Yeah, she just affirmed that's correct. 2 shows last year. Got it. That's what I thought. So she planned that really, really well. That gave her an extended period of time off stage. And then she was able to come back rested, refreshed, and with improvements made. Comes in and increasingly gets better in each show. Now she's like the one everybody's talking about going into the Olympia, right? She played this very, very well. This is what somebody should be doing. Once you've qualified for the Olympia once, at that point, it's not about qualifying for the Olympia anymore. It's about getting better when you actually get on the Olympia stage, right? And Jordan, I don't know how many Olympias you've qualified for. I want to say 3 or 4 at this point. But once you've done that, once you've made that step up to the Olympia range, at that point, you should be strategically picking and planning your shows so that you can be moving up in the ranks when you actually get to the Olympia stage. And she's done a very, very good job of doing that. This will be your 3rd. Okay. There was one year where she took an entire year off. I remember that. And I've always watched, Jordan, I've always watched you too because you are tall like me with long legs. So I pay attention to girls that look like my frame. So I pay attention to what you do in order to make your physique better. So she did take a full year off in order to make the growth improvements that she needed to make in order to do better. And, those are the kinds of things that when I look back on it, those are the kinds of things that I think are very important as a competitor. You have to have the ultimate goal in mind. I've told you guys this 1,000 times. You got to have the ultimate goal in mind and work your way backwards from there, right? Does the first one count? I was a little pipsqueak. It still counts. Going to the Olympia still counts. But see, that's what I'm talking about. You knew you were small, so you knew you needed to take time off in order to become better. That's important, right? That's important. That 12 months off is where I made the biggest strides improvement-wise, 100%. And I agree, 100%, because once you came back, people were like, oh, look at her now. And I remember specifically because one of the things that you lacked in quite a bit was your upper body. And the biggest thing I noticed as far as a change was concerned was your upper body was filled out. And again, you've just gotten better from there, So learn from the girls that play their seasons very, very well, right? Now, if you're not at this level, a lot of people aren't at this level. So this is not the kind of strategy you should be applying. If you're trying to just get to the Olympia, it's different, right? You've got to play your season and your field a little bit differently. Her goal, though, and I know this because she's put it out there, her ultimate goal is she wants to win the Olympia. So in order to do that, she has to plan her season and her shows so that she can get closer to that goal. And I think she's done a very, very, very good job of doing that. So congratulations. In other words, that was just an ode to you, Jordan. But I pay attention to how people strategize. I pay attention to how they play the game because it's all part of it. It's all part of it. It's about coming back. It's about coming back better. And it's about seeing the judges that need to see you in order to get better, right? So you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm glad I could be of service. But I do. I actually, as you guys know, because I sit here and I analyze these shows every week, I love people that actually play the game. I love to see people actually play the game. And so many people don't. So many people just think, I just got to get on stage. I just got to get on stage. I just got to get on stage. No, you have to play the game. And sometimes that means getting off stage. Sometimes that means getting off stage like Jordan did for 12 months and making the improvements necessary. And now look at her, 2 years later, whatever it's been, a threat for the top 5 at the Olympia, right? So this is what we're talking about right here. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about strategy, okay? And again, if you're not at her level, your strategy is going to look different, but you still need to go into it with a strategy, wanting to play the game, right? Karen, I see your comment there. So I'm loving my time off. It's helping me grow on every level. Absolutely. I'm there with you, right? Like I said before, people ask me all the time when I'm going to compete again, when I'm ready. Not getting on stage again until I'm ready. Not putting my body through that again until I'm ready, right? You have to take a step back sometimes, put your ego to the side, and realize that there is a bigger picture. There is a bigger picture. Always have that ultimate goal. What is your number one goal? What is it that you absolutely have to achieve? And work your way backwards. right? So any questions that you guys have about this show? I don't have anything from the Fit Parade. There was no pictures up, at least not the last time I checked. I don't know if they put anything up yet. We will preview the shows coming up this coming weekend. I'm looking to see if there's anything, if I missed anything. No, they don't have anything up from that one. But we'll have a teaching live tomorrow, and then we'll do a preview live on Thursday of the coming shows this coming weekend. Because there's several. There's like 3, I think. I think there's 3. And we're still moving. Like I said, I think this weekend, I think we'll see some girls that have been kind of knocking at the door to qualify for the Olympia. I think they'll actually get the qualifications this weekend. We'll have some people grab some more points, that kind of thing too. But I think we'll get some girls that have been really, close, get there. But we'll see. We'll see. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Any questions, you guys? This was an easy one because we only had the one show to go over. Usually we have like 3, 4, 5, 6 shows to go through. So with that said, like I told you guys, tomorrow, make sure you're on live on YouTube because we will have everybody on here tomorrow. So who is it that we have on? Let me pull up my little list. Hang on. So we've got Hannah, Jasmine, we've got Celeste, we've got Natalie, we've got Devin, we've got Julia, and we've got Jamie all coming on tomorrow night. So make sure you're here for that one because they're all going to be on with us live. Yes, she does. She looks just too perfect. You're right. Let me show that one. What did I do? Show. There we go. Perfect. So come tomorrow night with any questions that you have for our Cuties Conference Stage speakers too, because we will allow you obviously to chat in and ask questions, things too. They're going to talk a little bit about themselves and what they're planning on speaking on at CCTS this year. And we'll just have a good old time. Right? So I will stream it live on Instagram as well, but they're all going to be on YouTube because that's where we do the streaming service through. So just make sure that you're here for that. Okay. If you haven't gotten your ticket yet, we do have a few more early bird tickets left. The link is in my bio on Instagram. It's on the description box on YouTube. And then early bird ends on the 25th. So we're very close. We sell out or we end it, one of the two. And then they go up to full price. So this is your chance to get them discounted. Okay. Any questions, feel free to reach out. And if you want to work with me, suitsymposium.com is where you have to go. Our next show that we'll be at is the Baltimore Masters Pro, which is the 29th, I think, whenever it is the last weekend here, next weekend. Then we got the Virginia Classic. I don't even know, in November. We're close. We're getting close. We're getting close to Nationals and to the Olympia. So fun times. I will see you back here tomorrow night, 8:15. Again, be on YouTube if you want to get on with all of our ladies. And we will have it live on Instagram too. It's just going to be a better experience for you on YouTube. Okay? See you guys tomorrow night. And that's it. Okay. Bye, guys. I was trying to say goodbye, and I said bye, guys, at the same time. Okay, I got to go eat.